Okay, we're gonna go over our story of the week, which is called Martina the Beautiful Cockroach. It is a Cuban folk tale retold by Carmen Agra Didi, illustrated by Michael Austin. Martina Josefina Catalina Cucaracha was a beautiful cockroach. She lived in a cozy street lamp in old Havana with her big, lovable. Now that Martina was 21 days old, she was ready to give her leg in marriage. The Cucaracha household was crawling with excitement. Every senora in the family had something to offer. Tia Cuca gave her una peneta, a seashell comb. Mama gave her una mantilla, a lace shawl. But Abuela, her Cuban grandmother, gave her un consejo increíble, some shocking advice. Me to do what? Martina was aghast. You are a beautiful cockroach, said Abuela. Finding husbands to choose from will be easy. Picking the right one could be tricky. But, stammered Martina, how will spilling coffee on a suitor's shoes help me find a good husband? Her grandmother smiled. It will make him angry. Then you'll know how he will speak to you when he loses his temper. Trust me, Martina, the coffee test never fails. Martina wasn't so. Meanwhile, Papa sent El Perico the parrot to spread the word. Soon all Havana, from the busy sidewalks of El Prado to El Moro Castle, was abuzz with the news. Martina, the beautiful cockroach, was ready to. As was the custom, Martina would greet her suitors from the balcony under her family's many watchful eyes. Daintily she sat down and crossed her legs, and crossed her legs, and crossed her legs. She didn't have. Don Gallo, the rooster, strutted up first. Martina tried not to stare at his splendid shoes, keeping one eye on his reflection. Don Gallo greeted her with a sweeping bow. Caramba! You really are a beautiful cockroach. I will look even more fabulous with you on my wing. With that, he leaned forward and crooned. Martina Josefina Catalina Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha, won't you be my wife? Martina hesitated only for an instant. Cough. Right on cue, Abuela appeared. With a quick glance at her grandmother, Martina nervously splattered coffee onto the rooster's spotless shoes. Oh my, she said with mock dismay. I'm all feelers today. Rikiki! The rooster was furious. Clumsy cockroach, I will teach you better manners when you are. Martina was stunned. The coffee test had worked. A most humble offer, senor, she said coolly, but I cannot accept. You are much too cocky for me. Don Cerdo, the pig, hoofed up next. His smell curled the little hairs on Martina's legs. What an unimaginable scent, Martina wheezed. Is it some new pig cologne? Oh no, senorita, it's the sweet aroma of my pigsty. Rotten eggs, turnip peels, stinky cheese. Don Cerdo licked his chops and sang. Martina Josefina Catalina Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha, won't you be my wife? Martina had already left in search of. She wasted no time with the pig. Gronk, gronk, squealed Don Cerdo as he dabbed at the coffee on his shoes. What a tragedy for my poor loafers. He really is quite a ham. Calm yourself, senor. I'll clean them for you. I'll say you will, he snorted. When you are my wife, there will be no end to cleaning up after me. Martina rolled her eyes in disbelief. A most charming offer, senor, she said dryly, but I must decline. You are much too boorish for me. The coffee test had saved her from yet another unsuitable. The pig pig was scarcely out of sight when Don Lagarto, the lizard, crept over the railing. His oily fingers brushed the little cockroach's lovely mantilla. "You shouldn't sneak up on a lady like that." "I don't sneak, I creep," he said, circling Martina. For some reason this fellow really bugged her. "I've had enough of creeps for one day," said Martina. "Adios." "But I need you. Wait." The lizard fell on one scaly knee and warbled. "Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha, beautiful muchacha, won't you be my wife?" Martina sighed. "Let me see if there's any coffee." This time she wasn't taking any chances. Martina returned with 2 cups for the lizard. "Psst, psst," he spat. Don Lagarto was livid. He changed colors 3 times before he finally found his true one. And to think, he hissed, "I was going to marry you." Martina stared at the lizard. You could have heard a breadcrumb drop. "Food for thought, senor," Martina said icily, "but I must refuse. You are much too cold-blooded for me." When her grandmother returned to collect the day's coffee cups, Martina was still fuming. "I'm going inside, Abuela." "So soon?" "See, I'm afraid of whom I might meet next." Abuela drew Martina to the railing and pointed to the garden below. "What about him?" Martina looked down at the tiny brown house, and her cockroach heart began to beat faster. "Tiki-tan, Tiki-tan. Oh, Abuela, he's adorable. Where has he been?" "Right here all along." "What do I do?" "Go talk to him. He must, and just be your..." There he is. Well, no, maybe not, but she's looking down. There's her grandmother. There's Martina.
Compared to her,
there he is. Martina handed Abuela her panetta and mantilla, then scurried down to the garden. The mouse was waiting. "Tiki-tan, Tiki-tan." "Hola, hello." His voice was like warm honey. "My name is Perez." "Hola," she whispered shyly. "I'm Martina, the beautiful cockroach," he finished for her. "You think I'm beautiful?" The little mouse turned pink under his fur. "Well, my eyes are rather weak, but I have excellent ears." "I know you are strong and good, Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha." Then he squinted sweetly. "Who cares if you are beautiful? Tiki-tan, Tiki-tan." "Martina, don't forget the coffee." It was Abuela. No, thought Martina, no coffee for Perez. Martina, Josefina, Catalina, Cucaracha. See, Abuela? Martina knew better than to argue with her Cuban grandmother. With a heavy heart, she reached for the cup. Perez got there first. Quick as a mouse, he splashed Cafe Cubano onto Martina's shoes. Now the coffee was on the other foot. Martina was too delighted to be angry. At last she'd found her perfect match. But she had to ask, "How did you know about the coffee test?" Perez grinned. "Well, mi amor, I, too, have a Cuban grandmother." Okay, so that was the story, Martina the Beautiful Cockroach. And it was a folk tale. So can y'all tell me what you remember about folk tales? What is a folk tale, Kelsey?
It's a fiction story. Like, there's fairies in it, but it doesn't have to.
It's a story passed down from a long, long time ago. Yes, generation to generation. So this is a folk tale or a story that's been passed down, right? Bryson, did you have something else?
It's kind of like, it's fake because animals are talking.
Yes, it's fake because animals are talking. So it's not real, it's fiction, but it is a story like Martina the Beautiful Cockroach is a story that probably other people have heard of, and it's been passed down. Kind of like Cinderella. Has everybody heard that story and it's been passed down?
It's been movies.
Yes.
Too.
There's been movies. There's been books. Okay, so that's what a folk tale is. The Three Little Pigs. Something we've heard over and over again, and everybody knows about it. Okay? So now, let's look at the vocabulary words that you're going to need to know for this week. The first one is aghast. Okay, in the book it said she was aghast. Aghast means filled with horror or shock. Okay? A buzz. What do you think a buzz means?
It means you buzz.
No, it actually means filled with excited talk about something. If everybody's all a buzz, then that means they're kind of chitter-chattering all together and talking excitedly about something, okay? Splendid. We've probably heard this word before, Kelsey. Don't talk over me. Splendid means what? Impressive and beautiful. Y'all saw it, didn't you? Okay, so very impressive and beautiful. Hesitated. If you hesitate, then that means you do what? Evangeline? You stop or you pause for a second, right? But then you go start back up, okay? To stop briefly before doing something, okay? Humble. If somebody says you're humble, that means you're not a person that's going to brag about yourself. It means what, Bryson?
Not proud.
Modest. So if you're not proud and you're being modest, that means someone can say, Bryson, you have the best handwriting in the whole school. Well, if you were not humble, then you would probably say, oh, I know, I have the best handwriting out of anybody in this whole world. And I can put that to a contest. Is that being humble? No, that's the opposite of humble. But if I had said, Bryson, you have the best handwriting out of anybody in the whole school, and he said, well, thank you. I really don't think so, but that's a very nice thing for you to say, Miss Volker. Is he being humble?
Yes.
Yes. He's taking the compliment, but he's not bragging about it, okay? Livid. Ooh, we've probably heard this one before. Jalen, you did not clean up your room for the 5th day in a row. I am so livid. What do you think that means? Allie?
Mad.
Very mad. Very angry, furious. Okay? So some of these you might kind of be familiar with. Splendid, hesitated, humble, and livid. We probably have a little bit of an idea. Instant. You heard that word before?
Like you instant slap something.
I'll be back in an instant. Is that going to be something long or short? Short time. Okay? A very short period of time. Stunned. What do you think that means? That shouldn't be a new word. We should kind of know what that means. Bryson? No? She was stunned that the whole class failed the test.
Mad.
Surprised, not mad. Stunned means shocked or amazed.
Is that the whole task?
Okay? Stunned means shocked. Warbled. That's probably something you've never heard of. Warbled means to sing or make sounds with quivering notes. So warble, just think it means to sing. Squinted. We should know what that means. Everybody look at me with a squint. Yes, it's where your eyes kind of get small. And maybe like when you're blinded by the sun, you squint. Okay, so that means to partly close the eyelids. Delighted. Delighted. I was delighted that it snowed and we got to stay home.
Yeah. Happy.
Happy. To be filled with great pleasure or joy. So delighted. That's happy. Scurried, we've heard that word before. What does it mean?
Run.
Move very quickly. They scurry across the floor and they're running across it quickly. So to move quickly in a hurried way. Okay? So for the most part, I would say about 5 or 6 of these, you guys probably need to study more with more time at home, but some of them you probably already know. More of them you probably know than you don't know. Okay? So those are your vocabulary words for the week. Okay? So now we're going to talk about what a folktale is and put examples in our reading notebooks. Let's go ahead and get our reading notebook out, and we're going to add a note. Okay, so in your reading notebook, we've already talked about folktales once, so we're just going to go over that again together. A folktale, again, is passed down from generation to generation. It is a long time ago that it started from word of mouth or oral tradition. That means it's a story that was just passed down by somebody telling it out loud using their mouth. Okay, it wasn't written down in the beginning. Okay, the story usually teaches a lesson. Okay, different types of folktales can be a fairy tale, a myth, a fable, parables, legends, or tall tales, meaning tall tale is something that can't really happen. It's a story that's not true and it's been passed down from generation to generation. Okay? So what we're going to do today is just flip back to where we already glued this notebook entry in. It says, what I know folktales. What is a folktale? So we're just going to add a couple more examples. We've already put Little Red Riding Hood. So what was the one we read today? Martina, the beautiful cockroach. Okay. We had Jack and the Beanstalk. That was a folktale that's been passed down. It's been told by word of mouth. It's a tall tale because can that really happen? Do giants exist? No. Okay, another one that we've read in class we can add is Cactus Soup. That was the story about the soldiers coming into town and everybody hid their food, and then they ended up using a cactus thorn to make this soup. So that was a story that was passed down. It's not true. It's fiction. Okay, and another example of a folktale that we've talked about is the tortoise and the hare. Have y'all read that story or heard that story? You remember? The turtle is expected to lose, but he ends up winning because the hare was a little overconfident. He took a nap and thought that he was going to beat the tortoise with no problem. Was the hare humble in the story? No, he was bragging that he was the fastest and he was going to win, so he was not humble. Was the tortoise humble? Yes. Okay. Can y'all think of any more examples of folktales? Stone soup. So that one was like Cactus Soup, but they used stone to start the soup. Okay. Anything else y'all can think of? A story that's been passed down? Bryson?
The Ruby's Wish. It wasn't a folktale, but it was passed down. You said.
It's passed down. It doesn't really teach us a lesson though. So remember a folk tale has to teach a lesson. So Ruby's Wish, it's just a non-fiction because it was true, right? A true story based off of that person, Ruby. So we wouldn't call that a folk tale because it's not really a made up, passed down story. Kaylee, what do you think? The Three Little Pigs, good. That's something that's been passed down. It's not true. It's kind of like a tall tale. You know it can't really happen. The Three Little Pigs each build a different type of home, right? Can pigs build homes? No. Okay, you got another one, Kelsey?
Red Riding Hood.
Oh, we wrote that one. Little Red Riding Hood. Cinderella. In that one, she has mice that are her friends, and they turn into people. So, is that something that can really happen? No. But it is a story that teaches us a lesson, and it's been passed down because I learned about it when I was a little kid. I'm sure y'all's parents learned of Cinderella when they were kids. So it's something that's been passed down. Okay, so that's all we needed to do for reading today. Did y'all like the story? What background or what nationality were they talking about in the story? Where were they from?
They were from...
Kelsey, go ahead. Say it. What does it say on the cover?
A cabin.
Cuban. So Cuba is a country
Yeah, we read about it.
where they speak Spanish. Okay. So Cuban folktale, that's where this originated. So Cuba. Okay. So tomorrow we'll talk more about this story and summarizing, because we're going to practice summarizing this week. Do y'all remember what that means?
Summarizing means like thinking what it's about.
Thinking what it's about, writing a short paragraph to tell somebody what you read. Does it have a lot of detail in it?
Yes.
No, it doesn't have a lot of detail. It's just an overall summary, a description that doesn't have a lot of detail. Okay?